pick that life. That life picked you. Welcome to Sit Down News, and before I begin, I'd like to mention our sponsor. Ratchet is a clothing company from the UK started by a young man with a vision, a dream, and determination. They have various prints and styles for men, women, and children. I'll include a link to their website down below in the description for this video. You can subscribe to the Sit Down News blog at sitdownnews.com, and I appreciate everyone who has subscribed. Thank you. Taste was a restaurant lounge that opened up in Massapequa, Long Island. It was beautifully decorated. I had heard the owner put close to $1 million into it, but I'm not sure if that number is accurate. And although certain members of the Colombo family operated in the area, Patty De La Rosa and I were Lucchese soldiers, so as far as we were concerned, this was Lucchese territory. So Patty's crew and myself started going to Taste for some drinks. But it wasn't until the upcoming New Year that we planted the Lucchese flag in the place. We heard Taste was having a New Year's party and we wanted a table, so we sent Danny Campo to go secure one for us. But when he spoke to the manager, a guy named Orlando, he was told that they were all booked. Danny tried to smooth talk him out of a table, but the guy said sorry, there was nothing he could do, but that we could sit at the bar if we wanted to. There were two issues. The first being, we don't accept the word, sorry, there's nothing I could do, and no one's going to tell us that we have to spend our New Year's eating at a bar. Basically, we told Orlando to let the owner know we'll be there on New Year's Eve and to have a table for 12 set for us. New Year's Eve night, we walked into Taste and our table was waiting for us. Orlando and the staff were very courteous to us throughout the whole entire night. Years ago, when you wanted to put your hooks into a place, you would have guys go in a place, cause a scene, then you would go to the owner and tell him that you could put a stop to it, or just tell him to have your envelope for you every week. Patty and I handled Taste differently. We made our presence known by always being in the place for dinner and drinks. As luck would have it, Taste did our work for us. There was a guy at the bar one night that was drunk and causing trouble, so the manager Orlando came over to ask me if I could help. Now, Taste had a bouncer, a big black guy. He was a nice guy, but more intimidating looking than he actually was. That night I was there with Danny and his kid AJ, so I excused myself. I walk over to the guy and I told him, listen, they're looking to throw you out. You got to behave yourself. Surprisingly, he began to apologize. Everything was good. And then out of nowhere, this Orlando and the bouncer walk over and tell the guy that he needs to leave. I was shaking my head because if that was their intention, they shouldn't have came and got me involved. So while they're walking this guy outside, he turns around and says to me, you just made a big mistake. I'm a professional boxer. I'll be waiting for you outside. I was confused why he was blaming me, but I told him, you don't have to wait. I'm coming out now. I go outside, and let me just say, the guy was drunk, and whether you're a boxer or not, a drunk person's coordination becomes compromised. So anyway, quickly the guy gets knocked out. I go back inside Taste and continue drinking my scotch. After that day, we couldn't do no wrong in Taste. Orlando was buying us drinks and didn't know what else to do for us, but we still didn't ask for an envelope out of the place. We were going to, but Danny ruined our plans. When you control the bartenders and barmaids behind the bar, you control the whole place. At Taste, we became very friendly with all the barmaids. We tipped them good, and before you knew it, they did whatever we wanted. We paid for a round of drinks, and the next 2 or 3 rounds were on the house. Everything was going good until Danny decided to ask Orlando to hire a girl he was dating as a barmaid. We all knew it was a bad idea. So one night, we were all there, with the exception of Patty, Louis Jet, his wife, his daughter, and her boyfriend, Butch, his fiance, and Butch's 2 kids, and Danny and me. I was at the bar talking with Louis Jet and Butch, and Danny came over to whisper in my ear that some guy was taking pictures of his girl behind the bar, and that the guy just went outside and he wanted to approach him. I followed Danny into the front entrance and I stand in the doorway. He tells the guy, hey buddy, you can't be disrespecting the woman behind the bar, you're taking pictures of them. The guy looks at him and tells him to go fuck himself and goes to walk back inside. So the guy goes to walk past me. I turn around and tell him, who the fuck you think you're talking to like that? He tells me, fuck you too. I start attacking him. Danny and the people from inside are all holding me back. The guy takes his phone out. He tells me, do you know who I am? I hate when fucking guys say that. And he says, I'm going to make a call. I'm going to show you who I am. And I start cursing. Well, who are you, you fucking punk? Come outside. Make your call from outside, you punk. I'm trying to get to this guy, but like I said, there's a crowd of people in between us. So I tell Danny to let go of me. I walk out of the front door, and I walk through a little alleyway that leads to the back of the parking lot. I get to the back parking lot because there's a back entrance into Taste, and I'm going to go in that way. I'm on a mission now to get this guy. So I go through the back door. I get in. Nobody notices me. I'm walking through the crowd. I spot the guy, and by the time he sees me, it's too late. I'm on top of him. I hit him, and then I quickly get out of the front door. I start walking down Merrick Road away from the place, and about 2 blocks later, I turned around and I seen a whole bunch of cop cars pulling up to Taste. I guess when he took his phone out, he was calling the cops on me. Louis Jet called me to tell me that the cops were in Taste and that they just left. He asked where I was, and he sent his daughter's boyfriend to come and get me. We all wind up meeting up at John DiLorenzo's restaurant in Farmingdale. The cops in the 1st Precinct went to Louis Jet's collision shop in Belmore asking for him. He couldn't even go there anymore, so he laid low in his other shop. We sent Danny to Taste to tell him to destroy the security tapes, but Orlando told him the detectives already picked them up. They handed the tapes over. Thank God they only knew my first name. I spoke to a lawyer, and he told me if Taste was not cleaning their cameras often, the footage would be grainy. I met with Patty to discuss what happened. He asked why Danny just didn't approach the guy himself. Then he called Danny a punk. This wasn't the first time that he would describe him that way. Thankfully, nothing ever became of the Taste incident, but what amazes me is about 2 weeks later, Louis Jet told me that Patty and Danny were in Taste having drinks. I couldn't believe that Patty was in a place that just handed over security footage to the cops, drinking with a guy he just called a punk. The best part of the story is what Patty did with Danny, who he considered to be a punk. He proposed him to be inducted into the Lucchese crime family. Well, just another example in the mob you never knew about. Hope you enjoyed the story. If you would like to subscribe to this channel, you could do so down below. If you would like to subscribe to my other channel, Unlimited Substance Podcast, I'll add a link in the description for this video.